Alright, hello everyone, and now we have the kits of the characters dropping right after those patch notes. It is Monday after all. So, Pequod first made Yi Sang and Pequod harpooner Heathcliff. Very cool designs, and definitely great synergy with the WoW ego for Ishmael. So for Pequod first made Yi Sang, we pretty much have poise. On use gain poise count, on use gain poise count, at X plus poise gain clash power, on use gain poise potency, and at X plus poise you gain coin power. This is based on the potency. So overall very poise related. But we also have bind and bleed as expected, right? Bleeding. Pretty much we all know about the poise plus beat synergy, and we are going to get more of those. So pretty much this entire kit here is going to be poise plus beat, poise plus bleed, and if you look at the passive here, on crit inflict more bleed potency with skill effects. So you inflict your bind, inflict your bleed, you, on hit gain poise, on hit inflict bleed, and then you reuse this coin if you crit on the second coin specifically. Ambush is on hit gain poise count, and number 2 is inflict bleed, and if you crit you inflict bleed count. So we got bleed, 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 and on crit inflict more bleed potency with skill effects. So overall, a very bleed plus poise focused character, and the support passive is when one ally with the most poise crits inflict more bleed potency with skill effects. So also a very good benched character to give your team a bunch more bleed application when you are running other crit characters, for example Twin Hook Pirates, or maybe you use the middle gang, or maybe you use Harpooner. And moving on, let's talk about Harpooner. Yi Sang is not really meant to be a damage dealer, more of a bleed support character. So whether it's on the bench or whether it's actually used, he will just be a bleed applier in terms of potency. But Pequod Harpooner is probably peak lore design. So first thing I want you to notice is that this is Pride, this is Envy, and this is Envy. And the reason why these two are Envy is because he used to be part of the middle gang, which is why he has all these tattoos. And that's why he has double Envy, and that's why his skill tree here has X plus Envy Resonance, X plus Envy Resonance, and even more A Resonance. This will give him additional bonuses. So you definitely can run him in your middle gang because he is X middle gang. So that is a really cool thought that P-Moon thought about. Besides that, if in his passive, Mutilated Tattoos, you also gain offense level up and defense level up next turn every time an ally is attacked, very similar to the middle, but you also gain more of each of these if the attack ally is from the Pequod. So this is also a very, you want to run Heathcliff with the Pequod crew, and you also deal more damage the less HP this unit has. So it really reminds me a lot of a Dichi archetype where you want to get hit and then you hit back really hard. Very similar to Dichi's design, but Dichi is a discard character and can generate a lot of shielding on herself. For Heathcliff here, he generates a bunch of offense and defense level up every time he gets hit, and that will help to pump his damage and make him harder to kill. Right. So let's actually look at his kit. So we got our first skill here, which gains poise count. So another poise count bleed character. Gain aggro to this skill slot next turn. So you will be able to generate aggro using this skill. Very good. Snag Harpoon. Gain aggro to this skill next turn. Gain poise based on the bleed on the target. So this is based on the bleed potency. So you gain your poise count here. You inflict some bleed onto this skill 1 here. And then what you need to do is to make sure that the target has a bunch of bleed on them so that you can get a bunch of poise off of them. And the kicker here is that on your second coin, on crit, inflict bleed count based on bleed potency on the target. So if you have 98, you will be able to inflict 98 bleed count onto the target. So this is sick, right? I mean, it's not going to be like 98 or anything like that, but you will probably get something like, let's say around 12 if you were to run the bleed characters. Or maybe you can get 20 in one turn if you run literally all the possible bleed characters plus a little bit of nails or something like that. And then you just happen to crit on your coin number 2. Boom! Now you have a crap ton of bleed count. You increase your damage by a ton. So bleed count solved if you can get the crit, which is still the big problem about poise. You're not guaranteed to get the crit on specifically the second coin. You might crit on the first coin, and then on the second one you do not crit, or you do crit. Who really knows? So it's just really cool that this design here is very, very powerful, but you need to be able to build for the crit on the second coin here. So really, really strong. I cannot wait to see funny memes of people just doing 99 bleed count plus 99 bleed potency with this skill here. I'm not sure how you're going to do it, but it's probably some synergy in MD2 where you have to get some of the like poise kits, for example, like endorphin, nebulizer and whatnot, so that you can get your guaranteed crit here, and then you just stack a bunch of bleed, and then you just use your snag harpoon, and then you crit on the second skill, boom, you're done. The boss is going to bleed to death really, really fast. So I think that is what's going to happen eventually. And then for 7 knot, pretty much you saw the envy rest part really, but you inflict bleed and at your HP, because you are dealing more damage the less HP this unit has. We do not know the scaling here, but if the scaling is very good, then this actually does a crap ton. Pretty much you'll get a butt ton of extra damage from your passive, as well as inflict a bunch of bleed due to your HP being very low. So I imagine this character will probably have a 50% stagger threshold, and then you'll be able to just take a bunch of hits because you generate a bunch of aggro. And then you will have this really powerful skill here where if you get a bunch of envy characters, you save up for the turn where all of you have your envy skills, and then you use all of your envy skills, and then boom, all of you get a big benefit from it. And then you'll be able to apply a bunch of bleed and maybe even crit on the 4th coin, which is going to be very rare because you have 4 coins before, so the chances of you critting on your 4th coin, your first 3 coins might be able to crit, and then your 4th coin you will not be able to crit, so it's going to be a bit wonky here. But hey, at least if you get here, then cool, I guess. Consistency has always been the problem for poise, but this is a pretty decent way to build up a bleed poise synergy. I think the on crit on the 2nd coin and on the 4th coin are a bit tricky to do. It's very, very annoying when you crit on the 1st coin, then you don't crit on the 2nd coin, then you crit on your 3rd coin. It just feels bad. And yeah, I think it will actually depend on whether this character has really high coins or not. If the coin power is really, really good and you slap poise on top of them, then she's, no matter what happens, right, he's going to damage output like crazy. So even if you miss the crit, whatever, you still do a crazy amount of damage output. It's like, oh, let's slap crit on Ninclair. Okay, Ninclair now does a bajillion damage because he crits on a 30 coin. Yep, doesn't really matter, right? And if I don't crit, whatever, he's doing 30 anyway. So it's like, yeah. Okay, so let's wait for the numbers here first before I say whether this is a very, very strong unit. So it's possible that this unit might have some mediocre coins here, and then this coin power plus Y and coin power plus Y will make it into very, very good or just slightly better than usual. Right, so besides all of that, this character also has a guard skill that gives Wrath. Interesting. On use, gain aggro to this skill slot next turn, and then gain defense level up by the poise on yourself. So you will be able to just make yourself get hit, so you can get even more offense level up and defense level up. And you can use this after you do something like Snag Harpoon to get a bunch of poise onto yourself, and then you can do payback to get hit, gain some offense level up and defense level up next turn, and also get yourself some defense level up for that hit, so that you can get lower HP, so that you can do more damage. So very, very interesting design. Do remember that Heathcliff of course has Rabbit as his other best ID, so it's going to be kind of a look to see if Rabbit will be better than this one or this one will be better than Rabbit. But maybe if we get all of the Envy characters and we see how powerful they all are with the Envy synergy, as well as all the Envy boosts from like Refraction Railway or Mirror Dungeon 2, then maybe it could be a competitive team comp. But besides that, there's like whatever, man, you can probably hear anything. This character, design wise, 10 out of 10, and kit wise, very, very cool for Bleed synergy. Can't wait to see the other Pequods, because probably those characters will synergize very well with this Heathcliff, and Captain Ahab Ishmael will definitely have something crazy going on with that bleed and poise, maybe even fixing all of this poise wonkiness, maybe giving the entire team more poise every turn or something like that, because she you know, screams at her crew and then makes them all crazy and stuff. So maybe there's some fancy shit like that that she can do. It's a bit like Grippy. Grippy can whistle and then everyone will go and kill people. Yep. So very, very cool. I really love Heathcliff. As for Yi Sang, I think he's just a very solid support for the Blade Gang. Maybe not going to be run most of the time, but slapping him on the bench just to give your poise character more bleed potency with skills, like for example this guy right here, then that is also a very potent support passive. So I think that is also a really nice thing to go and get for if you want to go for more bleed synergy as well as more poise synergy here, right? So I think that is my opinions for this. I will have to wait for the coins to see if these units will actually be very, very strong or not, because ultimately when I saw the Middle Dawn, it was just okay with the coin power. So maybe 7 not here will also just be okay, or maybe it'll be Crazy Bastard. If it is Crazy Bastard, then hey, we actually have a competitive option for Rabbit, which is always a good thing to have, because being stuck into always comparing a character to their best ID, Rabbit, is very, very annoying. Alright, so that is it for my thoughts. Feel free to leave your own thoughts here. I think this is a very, very cool design, and I definitely will collect this one for sure. It's just so cool. The fact that he has double envy, the fact that he works with the Pequod, the fact that he loves to get hit so that he can hit back harder. Literally DC Rodion. I love DC Rodion's design, and I think Heathcliff might be able to do that as well if she is able to, if he is able to get some really good coins on his skill 2 and skill 3. Right, so that is it. I will see you guys next time when the coins are dropped. Goodbye.